little bit, just over 5.
That's 5.5 seconds.
Mr. Frog, Ms. Bell, you're standing for me? Patsy will be here tomorrow.
Yes. We're going to do every 2 days until we're finished. So I hope I don't have to come back. But.
This was, there were 2. I took the top one that was with he wrote.
All right.
Picture. Let's get a picture.
All right, please be seated.
Just a second, please. We're having a little technical difficulty. They sing it. Get it. No, yeah, we could. What exhibit is that? I don't know. Forget it. That's okay. Okay, let's move on. After the incident was over, where did you go?
Back to my room.
Before that, once you got out of the room, where did you first go?
What happened to your microphone?
Oh, wait, put it down here. Okay. When you first exited the room, where did you go?
Oh, into the restroom.
Who went with you?
Brandon Banks and Vandenburg later came out the room and went into the restroom.
Why did you go into the restroom?
He called us back into the restroom.
Who's he?
Brandon Vandenburg.
Okay. And you can't say what was said, but what was the nature of the conversation you had in the restroom?
Banks and I was freaking out, and he was just assuring us that everything will be okay.
Did you observe him do anything in the restroom?
Yes, sir.
What did you observe him do?
Flush condoms down the toilet.
After you left the bathroom, where did you go?
Back to the room.
Who went with you?
Brandon Vandenburg and Brandon Banks.
And did you observe anything on a camera in the hall at that time?
Yes, sir. Brandon Vandenburg had asked us to help him move her back to the car, and we didn't want to. And we told him no because we didn't want to be seen taking her back to the car, and he put a towel over his head and went and covered the cameras.
Okay. Did you help him get her back to the car?
No, sir.
You testified a little bit earlier about Mr. Batey. I want to hand you what's been marked 36G, since our computer's not working very well. See if
Okay.
you can identify what that photograph shows.
Yes, sir.
What did it show, please?
Mr. Batey with his fingers in her anal.
You can't get this one. You want to publish that to the jury? You want to publish it?
You can't, you'll have to pass me.
Okay. Just have to pass it, Your Honor. since
All right,
the
I understand.
Computer's not working right now. Got water soaked or something.
I blamed my clerk a little while ago, so I guess you could blame somebody for something.
Now, when you left, where was the victim at that time?
She was placed outside the door,
Okay, outside what door?
the room door.
Okay.
His home door.
Who placed her out there?
Vandenburg.
He hands you what's previously been marked 36A. 36A? Yes.
Yes, sir.
What does that photo show?
She's placed outside the door, laid face down.
Okay. Whose food is that beside her?
I think it's Cory's nacho bowl or something.
Ask that be passed to the jury also now. Do it the old-fashioned way. Now, when you and Mr. Banks are leaving, you appear to be laughing it up as you were running down the hall. What was so funny at that time?
That the only white guy in the room would come up with the brilliant idea to put the towel over his face and cover the camera.
After you got back to your room, did anyone come to your room?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Cory Batey.
What was Mr. Batey doing while he was in your room?
He was on the phone.
Did you know who he was talking to?
No, sir.
So you didn't have any discussion with him? He was on the phone the whole time?
Yes, sir.
And did you and Mr. Batey, Mr. Banks, and Vandenburg ever get together again after this incident?
Yes, sir.
When was that?
the day after, and at the Popeyes after we got questioned about student conduct.
Okay, so where did you meet the day after?
In the dorm, I'm not sure who room it was in.
And what were you discussing there?
You know, well, cool. We had found out that a video had been sent out to a teammate. He questioned me about the video, told me he seen Cory on the video and seen my shoes. And I told Cory, and Cory was ex-Vanderbilt about the video, and he wanted to make sure that the young lady...
Right, not what, you can say what you said, okay?
Okay. Well, Cory was wanted to meet with Vandenburg to make sure the young lady didn't know.
Court, please, I think this is statements between co-conspirators right after the crime about what they're going to do.
Well, who all was meeting?
Cory Batey, Brandon Banks, myself, and Vandenburg.
Okay. Well, you can say what Mr. Batey said, but I prefer just you and what Mr. Vandenburg said.
Well, we didn't say much. It was just to see did the young lady know what happened to her, and it was all Cory because he had been told it was on video.
Okay.
I want to ask you, did Mr. Batey say anything about whether he penetrated the victim or not, which I think is important as to the later cover-up?
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may be heard on that, Mr. Vandenburg will not have a right to confront and cross-examine Mr. Batey. Mr. McKenzie can basically say anything he wants, and we don't have a right to cross-examine Mr. Batey because Mr. Batey's not here. So I would object as to not only Sixth Amendment right, due process, and equal protection, because of the right to protect Mr. Vandenburg and his right to cross-examine whoever's saying something against him.
All right, I understand your objection. Duly noted. Go ahead.
Was Mr. Batey questioned about whether or not he sexually penetrated the victim with his penis?
Yes, sir.
What was his response?
Well, we asked him, did he actually get in, and he said he did.
Was there any discussion about what Mr. Vandenburg should do?
He said he was going to call over and later have sex with her.
Now later, you said you met again at Popeyes. When was that?
After we was questioned by student conduct.
Okay. What did you all discuss there?
What we had told student conduct.
Was there anyone attempting to contain the situation with you all at that time?
Yes, sir. Chris Boyd.
Who was Chris Boyd?
He was our teammate.
Was he kind of a team leader?
Yes, sir.
Did you see Mr. Prelude again after that?
Yes, sir.
Who was with you?
Cory Batey and Brandon Banks.
And what, if anything, did any of you three say to him?
We needed his help.
Who said that?
I'm thinking it was Cory.
Now, you first, like you said, you were questioned about student conduct.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you tell the truth to student conduct, or did you lie?
I lied.
You were later, remember, questioned by the police on the 27th, I think,
Yes, sir.
2013. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
Did you tell the police the truth, or did you just lie to them?
I lied.
I think later you met with the district attorney's office along with the police. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And that first meeting, did you tell the truth or lie?
I lied.
Did you tell some truth at that meeting?
Yes, sir.
And what were you attempting to do at that meeting?
Well, to only tell what I thought that you already knew.
Then I think there was another interview with the district attorney's office after you were charged. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And did you attempt to tell the truth at that meeting?
Yes, sir.
In your first statement of the district attorney's office, did you exaggerate anything?
I did.
What did you exaggerate?
Well, them calling around the level of intoxication.
All right, repeat it.
About my friends and teammates clowning around and how drunk they was.
Now, obviously, it's obvious to anyone you would lie to protect yourself, but were there any other reasons you were lying?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury what they were?
Well, those guys were my friends and teammates, and it was kind of a culture to protect your team and friends, and I didn't want to see no one get in more trouble than we was already in. And I also had family members and people saying I would be a snitch and that I shouldn't tell, things like that.
Now, you've also testified in previous hearings twice, have you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And those are under oath.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you attempt to tell the truth those times?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You know what happens if you lie under oath, don't you?
Yes, sir.
What do you hope to gain by testifying?
Just some type of consideration, avoid prison.
Okay. Have you been promised anything by anybody?
No, sir.
I think your attorneys are here with you. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now that you're 21 years old, how do you feel about what happened that night to this victim?
I'm ashamed.
That's irrelevant, Your Honor. He's not on trial. It's a character reference. I'd ask that be excluded. It doesn't matter how he feels.
In response.
I think he can show a reason why he's come forward testifying, Your Honor, please.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I'm ashamed, embarrassed of what I let happen that night. I'm sorry that it happened.
Okay. That's all the questions I have.
All right, cross-examination. All right. What?
Maybe on the chambers.
Okay.
Afternoon, Mr. McKenzie.
Good afternoon.
Mr. McKenzie, when you first you came to Vanderbilt, what year were you in Vanderbilt in 2013?
Freshman.
You were a freshman?
Yes, sir.
And were you a redshirt freshman or a true freshman?
True freshman.
True freshman. And you were friends with Cory Batey?
Yes, sir.
Right. And your position, what was your position?
Receiver.
Receiver. And was Mr. Batey a receiver?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Banks?
Defensive back.
Defensive back.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you and Mr. Banks were roommates.
Yes, sir.
And your room was, what was your room number?
I'm not sure.
614?
Could have been. Yes, sir. We was on the 6th floor.
Okay. And, excuse me. And whenever, you were like brothers.
Yes, sir.
You were best friends.
Yes, sir.
Anytime anybody saw one of you, they saw the other two.
Yes, sir.
Now, Brandon Vandenburg, you didn't know him. You didn't know him before June 23rd.
Right. I knew of him coming in, but I didn't never have a conversation or anything with him.
Okay. You never had a conversation with him?
No, sir.
You'd never hung out with him?
No, sir.
Now, I want to talk to you about your student conduct interview.
Okay.
You not only were questioned, but you also wrote out a statement, a handwritten statement.
Yes, sir.
And that was done on June 25th of 2013?
Yes, sir.
And that was done at the Vanderbilt Student Conduct Office?
Yes, sir.
Now, you were interviewed on June 27th?
Yes, sir.
And that was with Detective Mayo?
Yes, sir.
And Detective Mayo questioned you for quite some time that day?
He did.
You'd said earlier that you never heard the alleged victim in this case make any sound.
Not in the room.
Okay. Do you recall telling Detective Mayo on June 27th, he asked you, was she mumbling, talking, and you told him she was mumbling?
When we was when they was getting out the car. Yes, sir.
Well, she mumbling, she threw up because they put a towel, I saw a towel down when I came in.
Yes, that's what I was told.
That would have been in the room.
Yes, sir. That's what
Okay.
I was told.
So you did hear her mumbling in the room, or at least you told them that on June 27th.
Yes, sir.
And you told them she threw up on the floor on June 27th.
Yes, sir. I had been told.
Yes, sir. And you told Detective Mayo at that time that nothing happened to her while you were in that room,
Yes, sir.
and that you didn't see anybody take a picture of her,
Yes, sir.
that you did see somebody take a picture.
I did.
You did not see anybody take a picture of her.
Right.
And you told them that you didn't see anybody take a video of her.
Right.
One thing I wanted to ask you is Jaborian McKenzie is your real name, right?
Yes, sir.
And your nickname is Tip.
Yes, sir.
And you told him on June 27th that you had never heard about a text message or a video that got made.
I'm not sure. Who was that?
You told Detective Mayo.
Oh, yes, sir.
And do you recall telling Detective Mayo, he asked you how long you had been at Vanderbilt?
I'm not sure.
Do you recall telling him that you were going into your sophomore year?
Oh, yes, sir.
And that was your second year at Vanderbilt?
I was in summer school at the time. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you were starting your second year.
Yes, sir.
You'd already been there a full year.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you had not just gotten onto campus 3 weeks before?
No, sir.
I want to talk to you about the second time you were interviewed. This was do you recall being interviewed on July 7th, the 17th of July in 2013?
Was that to...
That was with that was actually with Detective Mayo.
Is it the one that was on campus or after?
This would have been at the police station.
Okay, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And they had you in the little room there?
Yes, sir, I remember now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And Detective Mayo was there?
Yes, sir.
Your attorneys were there, Ms. Bell and Mr. Frode?
Yes, sir.
And there was a lady there named Kathy Morante that was there
Yes, sir.
from the DA's office.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you were talking to them at that time because you were trying to make a deal.
No, sir.
You didn't want to make a deal?
I knew nothing about a deal.
You didn't want to cooperate with them and get some consideration?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And by consideration, we mean you were hoping you maybe get some time knocked off?
That's not my call, so.
Yes, sir. But that's what you want?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you had been charged at that time. You had been indicted.
I don't think so. Then
On July the 7th?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Now, you told them at that time that you and Brandon Banks and Cory Batey had been out that evening on the 22nd.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you told them that you all had been drinking.
Yes, sir.
You told them that actually that Cory Batey had been drinking more than you and Brandon Banks.
I could have said it. Yes, sir.
And do you remember telling them that you saw Brandon Vandenburg that night?
Yes, sir.
And you said you knew that he was drunk because he was staggering?
I'm not sure. I could have. I'm not sure. Let's see that.
Do you recall saying, talking about Mr. Vandenburg, I'm thinking yes, and drunk. I could tell that he was drunk because he was staggering when I first saw him. It's my first thought that he was drunk.
Yes, sir. If he's there, I see it.
Would it help you refresh your recollection to read it?
Yes, sir.
He acknowledged it. He said it.
Acknowledge he said
Well,
it.
he said, if it's there, I said it.
Yeah, I believe you.
Okay. And he seemed intoxicated to you.
Yes, sir.
That was your first thought when you saw him. This guy's drunk.
Yes, sir.
And that was really the first time you'd ever seen him.
Yes, sir.
But you knew right away he was drunk.
Yes, sir.
Now, when you were talking about what happened in the room, and you told Detective Mayo, you testified earlier here today that Mr. Vandenburg slapped the alleged victim on the butt.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you recall telling Detective Mayo at that time, back on July 17th of 2013, he asked you did anyone smack her in the face, smack her on the breast, smack her on the butt, or smack her on the legs?
Right.
And you recall telling him, I think Cory smacked her on the butt, just like on her butt.
Yes, sir.
And you recall telling him that you didn't see that you did not see Mr. Vandenburg, that you did not remember seeing Mr. Vandenburg touch her, participate in the clowning, touch her, or anything like that. And you said, I really don't think so, I'm not sure, but as I remember, I don't think he did.
Right.
And you also told him when he asked you again about Cory slapping her on the butt, you said, do you recall saying, yeah, he slapped her, and I mean he slapped her?
Yes, sir.
And Detective Mill asked you a lot, and you said maybe like 3 times.
Yes, sir.
And that's Cory Batey.
Yes, sir.
And you said you could see finger marks, and that Cory did that.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you said, Cory did that, yes, sir, I am sure of that.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't say anything. You said, in fact, Mr. Vandenburg did not slap her on the butt.
I'm not sure if I said he did.
But you did not say that Mr. Vandenburg slapped her on the butt.
I did not.
And Mr. Batey is your friend.
He was.
You're like brothers.
Yes, sir.
He's your best friend.
Yes, sir.
And there you are telling them that Mr. Batey is the one that slapped her on the butt.
Yes, sir.
You didn't know Mr. Vandenburg.
I did not, but
And you told them that Mr. Vandenburg, you did not say anything about Vandenburg slapping her on the butt, did you?
Yes, sir. When I was saying Vandenburg didn't do anything, I meant sexually. Like a sexual act. When I was saying he didn't do anything.
You said he didn't do anything sexually?
That's what I was meaning when I said he didn't do anything. I didn't think him, trying to wake his roommate up and making comments was relevant at the time.
Okay. And you were talking about when y'all first got into the room.
Right.
You said that Mr. Vandenburg was drinking water?
No, I said he used water to put on himself.
Do you recall telling Detective Mayo, you know, I seen Banks had the bottle. He had the bottle, and this bottle from earlier where Vandenburg was drinking water when we first made it to the room, and he spilled water on Banks' shirt. Do you recall saying that?
I know I said Banks had, I'm not sure if he said he was drinking the water or not.
Would it refresh your memory to read it?
Yes, sir.
And for your convenience, I've outlined it there with ink so you'll know exactly where to look.
Thanks. Yes, sir.
Does that refresh your recollection?
Yes, sir.
You told Detective Mayo at that time that Brandon was drinking water when you first made it to the room, and that's when he spilled water on Banks' shirt.
Right.
Excuse me. Now, do you recall on this same meeting that you told Detective Mayo and your lawyers and Ms. Morante of the DA's office that Mr. Vandenburg never made any kind of lewd comments about the alleged victim? Do you recall telling them that?
I could have. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Do you recall this was actually Detective Shreve, did Vandenburg ever say anything, make any kind of lewd comments, anything, this is what I got here, I got this drunk girl and this is what we can do to her, and your answer was no, no sir?
Well, I think they asked me that before we made it to the room. Not while we was in the room.
Said there was no comments made whatsoever from the time y'all got from the car down the elevator to the room. He never made any comments of look what anybody could do to her, and here it is, and you said no from my knowledge.
Right, before we made it to the room.
Now, your team meeting, when was your team meeting after this had happened?
Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.
And this incident happened on a Saturday night?
Yes, sir.
And when you left the team meeting on June 25th, you told Detective Mayo, Ms. Morante, and your lawyers that this was the first time that the four of you had talked.
It was before the team meeting.
Let me have just a moment, John, please. I apologize.
All right.
Now, do you recall telling, excuse me, at this meeting on July 17th again? Do you recall telling them that there was no discussion among you, Batey, and Banks that it would be a good idea for Brown and Vandenburg to have sex with the alleged victim after the incident to mess up any DNA tests? And the only time you talked about that was the Thursday after the incident.
I'm not sure.
Would it help refresh your memory to look at this?
Yes.
We'd like to see what he's...
Oh, I'm sorry. To refresh your recollection about what you told him that day?
Yes, sir. I told him. He told us that he had sex with her and ejaculated in her.
I'm sorry.
Say it again.
I told him that he had sex with her the next day and he ejaculated in her.
All right, but what I was asking you about, did you tell her that when Ms. Morante asked you, do you remember any discussion among any of these people that it would be a good idea for Vandenburg to have sex with her in order to mess up tests? And your answer was no, ma'am, no.
Yeah, it wasn't to mess up tests. That's what I was asking. No, ma'am. It was to ensure her that nothing happened to her.
And she said she asked you DNA tests like that. She didn't hear anybody say that. And you said because when we started talking about DNA, that was after, Thursday night, right after Vandenburg was there.
Right.
So that was the Thursday night.
It could have been. I could have got my days mixed up, but I know what the discussion was not to destroy any evidence. It was to just ensure that she didn't think anything happened to her.
But whatever reason you had that discussion for, it wasn't until that Thursday night. Is what you told them on July 7th of 2013. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, you testified earlier that you saw Mr. Vandenburg playing with himself in order to try to get an erection.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall telling them on July 17th of 2013 that when you were asked if Mr. Vandenburg was playing with himself, and I apologize, Your Honor, but this is the language that's in here, playing with him, don't know?
Yes, sir. I was covering up.
You'd already told on your brothers.
I already knew that from the way they was asking me the questions, I can tell that they already knew what they was asking me, so I didn't want to get no one else in more trouble, so I was only telling what I thought they knew.
Yet the two men who were your brothers that you went everywhere with, that you did everything with, you'd already told on them, you told everything they did.
Yes, I knew it
And
was
Mr. Well, go ahead.
I knew the next day I found out video had been taken, and I knew they had some video, but I wasn't sure what was all on the video, so that's what I thought I was telling. I wasn't going to say anything that I didn't think what was on the video.
So you'd throw your brothers under the bus, but you'd try to protect this man you didn't know from Adam.
It was on the video, sir. And Vandenburg.
But you told him at that time, I don't recall if he was touching himself or not.
Right, I didn't want to say that. Then I was still trying to protect everyone.
Well, did your lawyers, when you said that, did your lawyers say, hey, now wait a minute, we want to tell the truth here?
I mean,
Did they call you out on that?
They didn't know what the truth was.
Your Honor, please.
They didn't know.
Hearsay. Few other things.
Now, do you recall in the July 17, 2013 meeting that you were asked why you were smiling and laughing when you left the room?
All right.
And I think you said today you thought it was funny because Mr. Vandenburg had put a towel over his head to disguise himself when he was the only white guy around.
Yes, sir.
Do you recall telling them back on July 17, 2013 that you thought it was funny because y'all ditched Vandenburg and the alleged victim.
I don't think I said the alleged victim. I think I said we ditched Vandenburg.
Well, I know you didn't say alleged victim at that time, but you recall being asked, Detective Mayo asking you, it's funny because y'all ditched Vandenburg with her, and you said, yeah.
I'm not sure on that.
Refresh your memory if you
Yes, sir.
look at this.
I'm going to let you go no more than about 10 more minutes, okay? Please look back.
Your Honor, I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have to set up some videos and that sort of thing, so we may need to, and that'll take a few minutes to do that, if we could do that overnight.
Okay, well,
And
now's a good time to stop then.
That'll save a lot of time, if we could finish this question.
All right, we're ready.
Refresh your recollection, Mr. McKenzie.
Yes, sir.
You said you were laughing because you ditched Mr. Vandenburg and her.
You said with her, yes, sir. And I was saying it because, during the time when we just ran out of the room, Banks and I, he was trying to get us to. That's when he was asking to help get her back to the car. And, he turned his back and I hit Banks and we just took off running to the 6th floor.
Okay, so you took off running.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you call ditched?
Yes, sir.
We could stop now, Judge.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, stopping for the evening. Of course, I want you to enjoy your dinner. Don't discuss this matter. We'll see you in the morning. We will try to start at 9 o'clock. I can't promise what'll happen, though. But I will do my best to start at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, okay? All right. See everybody in the morning. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Adjournment tomorrow morning, 8:58.
One thing, we've got a special jury instruction we're going to ask for charge. I just thought of the court, if you want to be considered, I know you're working some on the charge.
Okay. Sure, I'll consider it. Yes.
Actually, Judge, I'd like to say, as far as the first page, I'm working on this, and I apologize. We're start off with aggravated rape, and then the court lists lessers, and the state's position is those are out of order.
Okay.
In at least the state's position that
Okay.
lessers.
That's what we can work on that tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I was just saying that I'm working on it.
All right. Very well. Thank you.
Yeah.